want him. AI needs to be seen as a force for good. We don't want
predicting almost half of all global jobs could be affected by artificial intelligence.
Jobs lost as a result of artificial intelligence.
Both the opportunities it presents and the dangers it
La
poses.
machine remplace le workforce.
And artificial intelligence has computers completing jobs that humans usually do together.
La suppression d'emplois.
Now, as you say, that labor shortage, but also will it take over jobs?
In recent years, the media has painted AI as something to fear, an unstoppable force that will take our jobs and leave us struggling to survive. People think of films like I, Robot, Terminator, and Blade Runner, but I'm not here to dwell on possible doomsday scenarios. Instead, this project is about exploring how AI is actually shaping the job market today. We'll break down real impact, different projections, and consider expert opinions on what the future of AI and employment might really look like. First, let's take a look at the current state of employment. I'm making this video in February 2025, and the US national unemployment rate is 4%. In other words, 4% of people who want a job don't have one. That's about 6.8 million people. A number that might sound high, but is actually just a frictional amount. Essentially, these are people transitioning between jobs, and for a massive economy like the United States, this is considered very healthy. In fact, there's currently a significant labor shortage, which is why in the fiscal year of 2024, the US issued 200,000 H-1B work visas. Overall, 19% of the active US workforce, about 31 million people, is foreign-born. So if there's a labor shortage, should we really be worried about AI? The issue is a bit more complex, and it has to do with the increasing sophistication of labor. As time moves forward, humans take on more complex tasks. When motor vehicles took over jobs in agriculture, we moved to factories, making use of our dexterity. Then, machines took over the factories, but we stayed one step ahead, shifting towards jobs that relied on intelligence and creativity. As simpler jobs become automated, workers need higher qualifications. This is why today 50% of Gen Z either has a degree or is pursuing one, compared to just 35% of Gen X. Before, we adapted by relying on something that was impossible to replicate, human intelligence. Unfortunately, we are now in the process of replicating it. So far, AI hasn't caused any massive layoffs, but it has already replaced humans in certain sectors, primarily administrative roles. This is because, as we've all seen, AI is flawed. It lacks inductive reasoning, meaning it cannot invent, create, or think beyond its training data. It operates within a fixed set of rules, making it highly specialized. Want a drawing of a monkey on a spaceship? AI can generate one, but only by reconstructing elements from existing images in its database. Right now, no publicly available AI can fully replace a lawyer or a teacher because it lacks true adaptability. But what if that changed? Before I can explain why AGI is revolutionary, I first need to talk about how AI models like ChatGPT work. The foundation of large language models, image recognition, and AI-generated images is machine learning, specifically neural networks. So what is a neural network? A neural network is a computing system modeled after the human brain that recognizes patterns. So at first, I know this might look a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. On the left, you have an input layer. The number of inputs can vary depending on the complexity of the program. On the right, you have the output layer. So just like any regular computer program, you have an input and an output. It takes in information and gives out information. The real magic, and the part that makes machine learning and neural networks actually interesting, is what's in the middle. It's the ominous hidden layer. The left and right sides of the process are entirely human generated. A developer decides what the AI should analyze, the inputs, and what it should produce, the outputs. For example, in a facial recognition AI, the human might say, look at the nose, look at the ears, look at the mouth, whatever, and then output the person's name, or output if it's the right person, if you're using a phone, for example. So at first, when you first start this AI, it's not going to work at all. But it's going to iterate, it's going to change a few values in its hidden layers, one at a time, and slowly it's going to discover that some changes work and some changes don't. And this is called reward reinforcement learning. So a developer is going to say, okay, you got it right. So keep doing what you're doing. You guys are gonna have that, and it's gonna change or not change its hidden layer. Now you understand somewhat how AI works. So what's the main issue with AI coming to the level of human intelligence? Essentially, it's that AI is specialized. It's specialized to a specific task. And sure, that's great for optimizing a computer. It's great for optimization, but it also means it's going to be miles behind human intelligence. I mean, imagine if a person can only do one task their entire life. Take ChatGPT, for example. It's made of 176 billion neurons. Remember those dots from the graph earlier? Imagine 176 billion dots connected, interconnected, intertwined, all working together. So no wonder it consumes so much energy. And for comparison, you might think the human brain, that's going to be a lot more intelligent than that. No, it only has around 100 billion neurons. So ChatGPT is using a more complex neural network than our own brain. So in that case, why isn't ChatGPT more intelligent than us? And the answer to that is adaptability. Now imagine throwing someone who has never played tennis on a tennis court. No instructions, no rules, just a racket and a ball. I think most people would eventually figure out the rules and start playing for themselves. Maybe they would probably lose on their first game, but at least they get how to play. Now imagine dropping a body with ChatGPT in its head in a tennis court and giving it a racket and a ball. It'll probably end up giving you a lecture on the history of fences or something, but it will definitely not win, and it'll definitely not understand how to play because it's not built to adapt to new situations. The idea behind AGI? Simple. An AI that can build its own neural networks. Right now, AI models are stuck with fixed inputs and outputs. A developer tells them exactly what to look at and what to produce. But AGI, it wouldn't need that. It would decide on its own inputs. It would set its own outputs. It wouldn't just follow instructions. It would figure out what the task is and build the tools to solve it. This is a big deal because that's exactly what we do. Humans don't need to be programmed with a step-by-step instruction manual for every situation. We adapt. We learn what's to learn. We see a problem, and even if we've never faced anything like it before, we start making connections. AGI would do the same, and that's terrifying and incredible. Because once an AI can design itself, what's stopping it from improving way faster than us? Big tech knows what's coming. Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, they're not just watching AGI unfold, they're racing to build it. Microsoft has poured billions into OpenAI in investments. Google has invested $75 billion into their AI programs in just this year. For reference, MIT's entire R&D budget is $960 million. Now, even Tesla and Apple are quietly making moves. Why? As we've seen, AGI isn't just an AI upgrade, it's a revolution. The first company to crack AGI doesn't just win the race, they win everything. But here's the thing, no one actually knows when it's coming. Some say it's right around the corner. Others say it's still decades away. There's no consensus, just predictions. Some of you might know Sam Altman, who is the OpenAI CEO, those that developed ChatGPT. And he said in August 27th in 2024, last year, that he estimated that we would have AGI by 2025. Shane Legg, who was the Google DeepMind co-founder, said there was a 50% chance we'd have it by 2028. On average, experts place it around 2060. So with AGI just around the corner, is there even any industry that is safe to work in? There is, and one of those is skilled trades. Electricians, plumbers, mechanics. Another one is healthcare, doctors, nurses, therapists. A big part of those jobs are human interaction and are based off trust, and it's harder for patients to trust an AI, obviously. So these jobs are probably maybe a lot more protected. Additionally, there's in education, teachers, mentors, coaches. AI can provide information, but it can't inspire, it can't motivate, and it certainly can't understand students and emotions. And finally, there is AI-related industries. If you really want job security, learn how to build and manage AI. Because even when AI replaces jobs, there will still need to be someone in control.
And job displacement, I think we all know this is coming. You had said around 2017, you thought in 10 to 15 years, about 40 to 50% of all jobs would be replaced by AI. Is that still an accurate timeline in your opinion? What the heck is everyone going to do when they don't have a job in 3 years, if so?
It's actually uncannily accurate. People have criticized me for being too aggressive in the 2017, 18, 19. And I was a little nervous at the time, but when Gen AI came out, I think everybody's on the bandwagon and believing that is a correct pace. And I think the white-collar jobs will go a lot faster. Blue-collar job maybe a little slower because more people are shifting to the software-only displacement. And I think it's a very, very significant problem. And I think finally some governments are waking up and realize they have to do something about this.